Okay, pre-algebra. Today we're just doing some simple equations, and I want you to use the format that I showed you in class, because what this is really all about is not looking at the problem and guessing what the x is, because you can see it, but by understanding the method that you use to get there algebraically. So let's look at this first one. X plus 5 equals 11. Remember that when we're solving an equation, we're finding the value of the variable. So our goal right now is to get the variable by itself on one side of the equal sign. And remember, an equal sign splits up the equation into two things that are equal. Here it would be the x plus 5, and here the 11. We can draw a line down the middle, the equal sign, and that's just there to show you the different sides. Okay, so we're trying to get the x alone over here. And go ahead and erase that red bar. And so what we need to do is we need to get rid of the plus 5. And the way that we get rid of a plus 5 is by doing the opposite of it. So we'd say minus 5. Plus 5 minus 5 equals 0. So those can just go away, which is our whole goal because we're trying to get this x by itself. So I move the x down here like that. And since I did this minus 5 to this side of the equation, I must do it to this side of the equation, or you do not have an equation anymore, because they have to remain equal. So if we do the same thing to both sides, it makes it stay the same. And so if I take away 5 from 11, 11 minus 5, my answer is 6, and that is the solution to the equation, x equals 6. So let's look at it over here with x plus 5 equals negative 11. Again, I'll draw my line to separate my two equal signs, trying to get my x by itself. So this time I still need to subtract 5 because I've got a plus 5. Okay, so positive 5 minus 5 equals 0, so those do go away. And so we'd have x on this side. And then again, since I did it over here, I need to come over here and write minus 5 underneath this. But this time it's negative 11 minus 5, so if I notice I have signs that are the same. Since the signs are the same, I'm going to add them together. And negative 11 plus negative 5, we add them and we keep the same sign, so I'm just going to write a little plus there, and we get negative 16. Okay, again, signs are the same, add, keep the same sign. So now we have our solution to the equation, x equals negative 16. So let's look at the one down here, x minus 3 equals 9. Again, I know you can tell obviously or easily that it would be 12 because 12 minus 3 is 9, but let's work out how to do this, solving it algebraically. Draw a line down the equal sign, and we're going to get the x by itself, and we do that by getting rid of the 3, but this time it's being subtracted, x minus 3. So the way that we get rid of it is by doing the exact opposite, which would be plus 3. So I'm going to write plus 3 here, and minus 3 plus 3 gives us 0. Those cancel out just like the ones up at the top canceled out. Okay, so since I added 3 to this side, that leaves me with just an x over here. I have to add 3 on this side, and running out of breath. 9 plus 3 equals 12. Okay, so let's look at it with x minus 2 equals negative 4. Again, I'm going to draw my line down the middle to show my two sides. I want to get the x alone, so I've got to get rid of that minus 2. Get rid of my minus 2 by doing the opposite and saying plus 2, which would cancel out to be 0, leaves us with our x all by itself. And so since I added 2 here, I had to come over here and write plus 2 here. And here my signs are different. I've got a negative and a positive, and when you have a negative and a positive, you subtract, and 4 minus 2 is 2, and then you use the sign of the bigger number. 4 is bigger than 2, so this answer is negative 2 because the 4 has the negative sign. And so that is the answer, x equals negative 2. Here we go. Now those are the adding and subtracting equations, so let's look what happens when we have multiplying equations. And that would be these. Here the x is being multiplied by something. In the first one it's being multiplied by 4, here by 3, by negative 5, and negative 7. Okay, so the way that we get the x by itself is we have to get rid of what's with it. So if you think about doing the opposite of multiplication is division. So here, instead of subtracting 4, because that won't help me, I need to divide by 4, because 4 divided by 4 is 1. So if those would cancel out to be 1, and I'd be left with this 1x all by itself, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So then I write equals here, and so since I divided by 4 on the left side, I've got to divide by 4 on the right side, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Okay? So coming over here, we have 3x equals negative 2. I need to get that x by itself, so I need to get rid of the 3 that's being multiplied by it. I get rid of a multiplication by doing the opposite, which is division, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, which leaves us with our 1x all by itself, which is what we want. And so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to also divide by 3, because I divided here by 3, I need to divide the other side by 3. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Remember, in division and multiplication, if the signs are the same, it's positive, and if the signs are different, it's negative. And so since we have a negative on the top and a positive on the bottom, the answer is still negative. It doesn't matter which one's bigger. Let's look at the next one down here. The negative 5x equals negative 15. So we need to get the x by itself, so we have to divide by negative 5, because negative 5 divided by negative 5 would leave us with a positive single 1x. Oops, I forgot to draw my line. Okay, so if I divided this side by negative 5, I need to divide this side by negative 5. And 15 divided by 5 is 3. The signs are the same, so the answer is positive. So it's x equals positive 3. And no, you do not need to write the plus sign. I just did it for clarification. Okay, so again, the reason why it was positive is because we were dividing two negatives. And when you have division or multiplication, if the signs are the same, it's positive. So two negatives makes a positive. Let's look at this last one. We have negative 7x equals 49. So I need to get the x by itself, so I'm going to get rid of the negative 7 by saying divide by negative 7. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is positive 1. That leaves us with our x all by itself. And we have to divide 49 by negative 7 to make our equation balance, because they have to be the same on both sides. Do the same thing to both sides. And you've got the same thing. 49 divided by 7 is 7. The signs are different because we have one negative, and the 49 is positive because there's no sign. And so our answer is negative 7. So that is it. That is all you're doing today. You do not need to do the backside with the division. I will show you how to do those tomorrow, and I will see you then. Again, as always, you can email me if you have any questions. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.